Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Tatiana. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a 15-step formula to success with Amazon FBA. So you guys know that I've been selling on Amazon for a number of years now. Have sold multiple products on there, built my brand on Amazon, off of Amazon, transitioned to Shopify. I'm going to talk about that a bit later. And so everything I'm going to be sharing with you is going to be coming directly from my personal experience in this business. And so I'm going to use my whiteboard to illustrate things for you. I'm a visual learner, might help some of you. And it might be a bit of a longer video, so just a heads up. I'm going to try and go as fast as I can through these points. I might talk a bit fast. And if you guys want more in-depth explanation about certain things, I'm going to be linking resources down in the description box for you. All right, let's get started. So the roadmap of Amazon FBA, number one, you're going to be opening up a Seller Central account. So many of you have already Amazon accounts because you are shoppers on Amazon, you are customers, and a Seller Central account is simply an account for people who are selling on Amazon. And so I want you to open this up as soon as possible. Don't delay it, because these days Amazon tends to be taking quite a bit longer to approve applications. And so the sooner you can start setting up that account, the better. Now there's two different accounts that you can set up. There's an individual and there's a professional account. Right now, you don't need to worry about setting up a professional account because that comes with a $39.99 per month fee. The individual is free, and you can at any time upgrade to the professional when you need to. Step number two is market research. Oftentimes when people learn about Amazon FBA, they think of a product that they use on a regular basis and they get excited because they want to sell that product on Amazon and build their brand around that product. And the problem with that is that just because you love a product, just because you like to use a product, does not mean that the customers on Amazon like it as well. And same thing, if you find a product that's selling well in Walmart, in retail, or if you see a product that's selling well on eBay, does not necessarily mean that that particular product is going to sell well on Amazon. And so you got to do market research because you are going to be selling on Amazon. You're not going to be selling on Walmart or on eBay, you're going to be selling on Amazon. So you want to see what people are already buying. You want to find a product that already has demand, because if you're just going to sell any random product and you don't know if there's demand for it on Amazon, then it's going to be so hard for you to get those sales and recuperate your investment. So market research, product research. Decide, create a list of product opportunities, viable product options that you could potentially sell on Amazon. Okay, so once you have done that, you are now going to pick your product. Okay, so you need to choose a product. So you've done your research. Maybe you've made a list of 10 product opportunities that you would like to move forward with, and you've narrowed that list down to maybe your top 3, and then you've narrowed it down even further to a single product that you're going to sell on Amazon. You want to start with only one product. Once you've chosen a product, you now have to find a supplier. Find a supplier. Now, whether you want to source locally, maybe in North America, or internationally, maybe in China, that is up to you. And it's going to be dependent on the type of product that you choose. If you're choosing a product that might have health concerns, maybe a product like a supplement or a topical product, you definitely want to be sourcing that in the country in which you would choose to sell. If you're going to be sourcing a product that's like a plastic bottle, it doesn't really matter where you source it from, just make sure it's BPA free. And so that's where you decide on a supplier. I have another video if you want to learn more about making the decision between sourcing locally or sourcing internationally, the pros and cons of each. I'll link it down in the description box for you. Okay, so now number 4 is you're going to get samples from your suppliers. So when you are reaching out to suppliers, you're not just going to reach out to one supplier, you're going to reach out to multiple suppliers. You're going to reach out to at least 10 is my recommendation. And from there, you're going to narrow down the list of suppliers, just like you narrowed down your list of product opportunities. And you want to land on maybe 3 of the best suppliers, the people who had the best communication, who they really wanted your business, maybe they have the best prices. And from there, you're going to request a sample. And the reason being is because you need to see what the product looks like. You need a sample from them. And I want to clarify, just if you guys don't realize, that with Amazon FBA, we are in the business of white labeling products. of private labeling products. And maybe you've heard of this term before. We're not in the business of inventing anything new. We're not in the business of, being the pioneers of anything. We are simply looking for products that are already selling well, and we are going and finding manufacturers who are already manufacturing those products and then just asking them to put our brand names on the product. More on this to come. So get samples from suppliers, at least 3 different samples from 3 unique suppliers. Now, I have an extra little tip for you, and this is something that oftentimes people don't do, is I want you to buy your competitors' products. So on Amazon, you maybe have your top 3 competitors. I want you to buy all of their one of their products from each competitor, because on Amazon that if they're the best seller for that particular product, that is an indication that the customers like that product. The customers are happy with the product. You can see that they have positive reviews. And so when you receive samples from your suppliers, you now have a product to compare those samples to. And that's going to help you determine which of those samples are the best quality, the highest quality, because at the end of the day, with this business, you need to be looking for the highest quality product. You are striving to sell the highest quality product on Amazon, because if you have a poor quality product, there's no way that you're going to be able to build a brand from that. You're going to get negative reviews and probably negative seller metrics, and Amazon might even tell you to remove that item from their warehouses. So finding the best quality product is of utmost importance. Number 5 is I want you to now ask yourself, how can I improve this product? Okay, now this is really important, because if you are, say you decide that you want to sell a spatula on Amazon, and you see your competitor's spatula and you find a supplier who is producing the exact same spatula, and you just say, okay, I'm going to just source that spatula and put it on Amazon and try and make sales. You're just not going to see success with that, because you're literally selling the same product as everybody else. And so you need to offer something refreshing, something new. You need to add more value to the marketplace. And so what you can be asking yourself is, how can I improve the product? And the ways that you can determine how you can improve the product, again, you don't just want to do what you think could be improved, because oftentimes we delude ourselves into thinking that we know everything. The best place to be asking is directly to your customers. And I know right now you don't have customers, but you can look at your competitors, read their reviews, read the 5-star reviews, read the 1-star reviews, read the 2-star reviews. See what people are complaining about. Maybe it's that, there's a certain nozzle that keeps falling off. Maybe it's that the product's a bit too small. Maybe it's that the product falls apart after 6 weeks. Maybe it's that it is only available in a certain size. Find out what people are not happy with, and then when you see that this is something that gets repeated quite often, quite a number of people have complained about the same issue, then you can say, okay, now I know that this is something I could do and improve the product, and therefore I'm not just selling the same product as everyone else. I'm selling an improved and enhanced version of that product. So I want you to be asking yourself this, and once you determine what would be the most high leverage things that you can improve about the product without it costing too much, because if you're making huge modifications, we don't want that either. We want small incremental changes, because if you're going to completely change the product, then that's tough, because now you put yourself at risk. The whole idea of Amazon FBA is reducing your risk by seeing what's already selling on Amazon, seeing what's already working, and not trying to be the pioneer. So if you're going to completely change the product, you don't know if the customers will like that. You always want to see other people who are selling something similar. So small changes, and then you want to communicate that to the suppliers. Communicate to suppliers. So you have now 3 suppliers. You have yet to determine your number 1 supplier, and you want to communicate those things that you may want to change. Maybe it's something small. Maybe it's just adding a bonus item. Maybe it's just changing the way that it's shaped. Maybe it's something very, very small, but you want to communicate this because some suppliers will be willing to work with you, some will not, and some will charge you way too much for those modifications, and some will not. And that's going to help you determine on who that number one supplier is. So number 6 is you now have to choose your supplier. So determine your supplier, pick one supplier, and you're in communication with 2 other suppliers. I don't want you to just drop them because those are going to be your backup suppliers. In case something happens with this one supplier, then you have backup suppliers that you can communicate with and go to if you need to. When you are choosing this one supplier, you are now going to place your initial order, and I don't want you to pay more than a 30% deposit. And we're going to talk about this a bit more, but the reason being is because we want to make sure that you have leverage with that supplier, and a 30% deposit is standard. And if they kind of feel that you are someone new in this business, they might ask you for a 50% deposit, even 100% deposit. But I want you guys to know and have confidence that 30% is standard, so you can make sure you can communicate that with them. Once you've decided on your supplier and you've placed your order, you're going to have to send them your logo and packaging. So you can get a logo made on Fiverr or Upwork.com, and if you want to have custom packaging, that is up to you. I personally don't think it's a necessary expense at this point when you're placing your first order, but a lot of people do custom packaging. But you can then create the graphics and the design and then send that to your supplier. Once you've done that, now they're going to be preparing your order, and it might take 30 days. Usually it's around 20-30 days for them to complete manufacturing. So this is good time. This is time for you to be working on your pre-launch. And this is another thing that so many people do, and I'm going to underline this in red because so many people skip the pre-launch. They get caught up with life, and they say, you know what, I'm waiting for my supplier to manufacture my products, I can do other things. But this is the time to be working on your pre-launch, because your pre-launch is what is going to ensure that when you launch that product, it's a success, that you get sales straight away. And that is important for the Amazon algorithm. And so what does the pre-launch include? Well, one thing I would recommend is creating a customer avatar. Maybe you've heard about this before, but you can Google it. If you Google it, you can get some templates that you can start to fill out. The idea with creating a customer avatar is that it's going to help you get clear on your messaging and your marketing. And right now, maybe you don't really know who you're speaking to. When you're trying to talk about your product or market your product or create content for social media, maybe you feel lost because you don't really know what kind of content to create. But when you get clear in your customer avatar, you are speaking to one person, and by speaking to this one person, you are speaking to your entire ideal audience. And so the customer avatar you can create by pulling information from your competitors' reviews, trying to figure out who those people are. Are they men? Are they women? What age group? What are their goals in life? What are their struggles? You want to get very, very specific, because the more specific you get, the easier it will be for you to do marketing. And we're going to talk about marketing at the end of this video. So creating your customer avatar. Now this one is big. You need to create a lead magnet. This is like a marketing term, but essentially your goal is to be building an email list or maybe a messenger list, ideally an email list. And the reason being is because most people, they don't buy a product the first time they see it. So if I share with you about, this, like a product, a nail product or something, you probably won't buy it the first time you hear about it. Most people, they need to have it marketed to them several times before they actually make the decision to buy the product. And so when you are on Amazon and someone clicks on your listing one time, the chances of them buying are kind of low. And so your goal is to create a lead magnet so you can have people opt into your mailing list, your email list, and from there you can send them emails on a regular basis. You can develop a relationship with them, and you can market them your products, your services several times, and that is what is going to lead eventually to a purchase. Same thing with a Facebook Messenger list. So a lead magnet, how do you collect people's email is by offering them something of value, something that you can give to them maybe online instantaneously, like an ebook, a guide, a template, maybe whatever it is. Just figure out something. You have to determine again what is your niche, what is your customer avatar, what is something that people would want. If you're selling dog toys, what is something of value that you can give to them for free in exchange for their email? Then you also want to be working on your social media. And a lot of people also kind of skip the social media, and you don't have to, you don't need 10,000 followers to have a success on Amazon. You just need a small social media presence, and maybe it's 300 people, 300 followers, 300 people within your industry, 300 people within your niche that would be interested in buying your product when you launch your product. And so I recommend, aiming to have like 300 to 500 people that you can get in your email list or on your social media that are targeted people, and that's going to help you when you launch your product. So now your supplier emails you and he tells you, your order's ready, we can now ship it for you. What's the address? You say, hold up, wait. I'm having a third-party inspection agency visit your warehouse, and they're going to inspect the products. So number 9 is third-party inspection agency. And if you guys don't know what that is, I have a separate video about that, and I'm going to link it in the description box for you, where it goes into detail about what this service is and why it's necessary. And I'll just briefly tell you that when you are first placing an order with a new supplier, you have yet to develop a relationship with them. So it is necessary to have someone, a third party that you are paying to inspect the products, and they can either pass the supplier or they fail them. And if they fail them, this is where your 30% deposit comes in handy, because now you have leverage. I've seen it where people who they didn't take a training program, and they're new to business, and the supplier tells them, we need you to pay the full balance up front. They pay 100% of the balance, then they hire an inspection agency, and the supplier fails the inspection. But then they have no leverage on the supplier. They can't say that, hey, I have 70% of the balance that I'm not going to pay you until you replace the products, or if you reimburse me for the products, or if you fix the products if there's some details that they need to fix. And so then they end up losing on that order because, again, they have no leverage. So if they pass, that's great, no problem. If they fail, then you can say, well, I have a 70% balance that I'm not willing to pay you until you honor and fix these products. Okay, so after the third-party inspection agency, you are now going to go back to your Amazon Seller Central account, and you're going to create a listing for your product. A listing is what people see, when you're shopping on Amazon and you click on a photo. That is a product listing. And you, at this point, don't have to, do anything special with your listing. You don't have to really enhance it. Just a draft listing, a rough listing. And the reason we want to do that is because the next step is to create an inbound shipping order. Oftentimes people ask me, well, Tatiana, my supplier, how do I know what Amazon warehouse to ship my products to? What address do I give to my supplier? And you don't know until you create an inbound shipping order. And you'll do that in your Amazon Seller Central. And that's because Amazon, they don't know what warehouse they want you to ship the goods to until you tell them what product you're selling, how many quantities you have. And then they will give you an address, which you then give to your supplier. And then you will have to ship your products to Amazon. Now, you have a few different options with that. You can ship by sea on the boat, or by air. I have another video if you guys want to debate which one is better. I'll link it in the description box. I generally recommend, if you're first starting, to ship by air, simply because it's just faster, it's easier, less hassle. It is more expensive though, and it depends on circumstances. Like right now, with the coronavirus, shipping by air is really expensive, so it's best to ship by boat. So it's going to depend on that. I do recommend hiring a freight forwarder if you decide to ship by sea. I'll link another video about freight forwarders down in the description box below for you. They basically facilitate the entire shipment for you, so you don't have to worry about bonds and customs and all of the documentation that you need in order to, ship a product from one country to the next. So while your product is being shipped, it might take anywhere from 1 week to 2 months, depending on your shipping method. You're going to be creating an A+ Amazon listing, which is essentially just an awesome Amazon listing. And I know my writing is terrible. I'm aware of that. So creating an A+ Amazon listing. So you've already created a draft listing. At this point, you want to go back and you want to improve that listing. You want to make sure that you have great images, great text, great copy, all of that stuff. And then your goods are going to arrive at Amazon. And so you are now going to launch your product. So you did the pre-launch. Now you are going to work on the launch. And because you did the pre-launch, when you launch this product and it goes live on Amazon, you should have instant sales, instantly, because you now have a list. You've got a social media following, you can post it on Instagram, and you can let people know, hey, we just launched this product. I know that you have a dog. I know you might be interested in it, and we have a really special launch price that we have going on right now. And in a week from now, it's going to go up. The price is going to go up 80% or whatever it is. And so we'd love for you to try it out, and here's the link. And so from there, you should get instant sales if you did the pre-launch properly. But we also want to turn on, this is getting really messy, PPC. PPC stands for pay-per-click advertising. When you're first launching your product on Amazon, it's really valuable for you to turn on your Amazon PPC. And the reason being is because when you first launch a product, you might be on page 15 on the Amazon search. And as a customer, you might know, how many pages will you scroll through before you make a purchase? For myself, I really don't have patience. I go through page 1, and I usually buy the product I'm looking for on page 1, maybe page 2 max. But there's no way I'm going to scroll through 15 pages and then pick a product on the 15th page. And so some people do that, but very few. And so that's why PPC comes in handy, because you pay Amazon and you can have your product listing displayed on the first page of Amazon. And that's really valuable, because if you are launching it and you have a special price, meaning that you're going to try and be cheaper than your top competitors, then people who are in Amazon and they're in the market to buy this product, they might say, yeah, this other guy has 500 reviews, this one doesn't have reviews, but this one is cheaper, so I have a reason to buy it. And so PPC is going to become one of your best friends. There's automatic and there's manual campaigns. You can just start with automatic, but when you learn to do keyword research, definitely do those manual campaigns. Okay, and number 15, what is the last thing? You know what? The last thing is the most important thing. It's continuing to market your product. When you become an Amazon seller, you're not just selling products on Amazon, you actually have to become a marketer. And I've talked about this a lot. You might have the best product, the best service, the highest quality. You know it's going to add value to people's lives, it's going to serve them, they're going to enjoy it. But if you don't know how to market that product, then how are they ever going to have the opportunity to even buy your product? So you have to get really good at figuring out different ways to get your product in front of people's eyes. And that's why marketing, it's an ongoing thing, because things are changing so fast. There's always new marketing techniques and strategies. And so this is ongoing work of how can you market your product. And so this is like the beginning, okay? This is really where you have to get good at it, and there's so many ways to market, and you don't have to do them all. That's the good thing, is you don't have to do them all. Just pick one or two really good things. For me, I decided social media and YouTube. That's the way I wanted to market my product. It was the most affordable thing I could do, and I just went with that. I could have also done paid advertising and a number of other things, but I just did those because otherwise it becomes overwhelming. But it's an ongoing process, and so many people, they put their product on Amazon and they leave it, and they just kind of expect those sales to continue to grow each month. But unless you pick a really high demand product with low competition, then you can't really expect that. Like, you do have to put in the effort, and if you don't want to do it, then you can hire someone else to do it, but it's got to get done. So these are the 15 steps, guys, and so as you can see, the process is simple. You know, you understand this. It's, you know, I don't know, like a 20-minute video, 25-minute video. The process is simple, but it's in each one of these steps. There are so many details in each one of these steps that you really have to understand and you have to learn, and that's where it becomes complicated. That's where people drop off. And so, for example, you know, market research. Well, how do you do market research? How do you determine if a product is a viable opportunity? How do you know? Is there certain things that you should be aware of, certain criteria? Is there a certain price range that you should be looking for in order to be profitable? In fact, what is a good profit margin? 25%, 35%, 15%? So there's a lot of questions about market research, how to pick a product. Because actually, guys, this is where most people get hung up. Most people are actually, it's choosing a product. Most people don't pick a product. A lot of people who start this business, they get this, but they get so hung up in choosing a product because they fall into analysis paralysis. And that's the problem when you don't take a course or a training, because you have to really trust yourself that you're picking the right product, and people kind of don't have confidence in their ability to make that decision. And so when you have a set of criteria, you've got a formula, you've got, you know exactly what to be looking for, then when you find that product, it's so obvious, and the decision is so obvious. And so then you can move forward with the business. But most people don't move forward because they just get so scared to move forward with a product that they're not really sure about. And so, you know, at the end of the day, I just recommend that you just pick a product, because this whole thing, if you go from here to here, this experience is going to be so much more valuable than the money that you're going to make with that first product, because you're going to be able to replicate this. It's a process that gets to be replicated, and you can do that with your second product, your third product, and each time you get better and better as you gain more experience. I mean, okay, let's see what else is here. Finding a supplier, like, how do you know who's a good supplier and who's not? Is there certain things that you should be looking for? How can I improve this product? How do you know what to improve on the product? How about logo and packaging? What should I put on my packaging? Should I have certain labeling? Are there certain things I should put? What kind of barcodes do I need? You know, how should I put my brand name on my packaging? All of those details. How about creating a listing? Well, how do I know how to create an amazing listing? You know, your listing is so important, guys, because especially your main images on Amazon, your Amazon images are equivalent to what packaging is to retail. And so you have to have really high quality images, and you have to know what that looks like. You know, you should have text on your images. You should make sure that you have lifestyle images depending on your product. You want to make sure you take up all of the space. You don't want to have any white space. There's a lot of details, and that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, yes, you can do this on your own, and you know, kudos to you if you do. But in my time working in this business, I have so many people that come to me and they say, you know what, I tried to do Amazon FBA and I failed and I lost money because I didn't really know what I was doing. And so then they get a course and they wish that they had just bought a course sooner, so that they didn't have to waste the time and waste the money. And so I believe that taking a course is the best way to go about this, because you're given a step-by-step process. You're being told, okay, now this is what you do, and now this is what you do, and now and today, and you have homework and guidelines, and that gives you so much peace of mind because there's no questions in your head. If you make sure you find a reputable course, and it's a proven course, it's a proven process, then you have the confidence to move forward with the business and to make those big decisions. So I strongly recommend that if you guys want to start this business, you do invest in a course. There's people who can definitely do it without a course. I interviewed one person who's done it without a course on this channel from Colombia, but it's very few, it's very rare. And so for the most part, most people they need that extra guidance. They need that hand holding. So I'm going to recommend two courses to you, ASM and MPSH. I'm not going to go into detail. You can click the videos in the description box below if you want to learn more about my course recommendations. Everything that I talked about here, any resources I have, I'll also link in the description box for you guys. And if you guys want to kind of go a little bit deeper with Amazon, but you're not really yet to dive in, then I have a free training. It's, I think, 7 parts, or it's a 9-part video training where basically it gives you more details about these certain steps. And you can access that by going to tatianajames.com/FBA. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. I will link all of the links in the description, but if you guys have questions, please ask me in the comment section below, especially when a video first releases. I'm very active in the comment section. If you have questions about Amazon FBA, Seller Central, any of that stuff. Other than that, thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.